Hi, everybody. Welcome to my live channeling session. My husband's busy clicking buttons here on the screen.
That will be me.
Okay, come say hello with your bed hair.
My bed hair. Hello, everyone. Sorry about that, everyone.
This is my husband, Anthony. He'll be helping me by asking questions.
Yeah,
off screen, just so that I can stay in trance while the questions are being asked. While we are waiting to see if anybody's going to join tonight, and it's completely okay if nobody joins. But everybody's also really welcome to join, so please come. So while we're waiting to see if anybody will join tonight to ask some questions, I will give you an idea of what I do. So I'm a channeler, a healer, a psychic, an esoteric artist, and a holistic life coach. I spend a lot of time teaching people how to empower themselves, either spiritually, physically, emotionally, or mentally. Actually, it's usually a bit of all, otherwise it wouldn't be a holistic. And most of my practice, whether I'm teaching or whether I'm serving the community with channeled readings, or whether I'm creating art or whatever I'm doing, most of it is centered around channeling. And what that actually means is that I have beings, I have opened myself up to be a host for any being of love and light that is connected to me. It's usually a future perspective of me, or if I'm channeling for someone else, it is often a perspective of themselves that comes through. So it is a perspective that I can trust. It's not always a perspective of me. When I channel for the human consciousness, sometimes the beings that come through are more concerned with the whole of the human consciousness and wanting to aid and help them. Melchizedek is one such collective that comes through. So I've only been doing this I've been doing the direct channeling. I've been doing psychic readings and those kind of things for a number of years now, but the direct channeling where a being comes through and talks directly and answers questions, that's been happening for 6 months, perhaps less even. Yeah, and it's been a very interesting journey and interesting experience, because I get to experience beings with very raised frequencies, very higher vibrations, and kind of get a sense of what it feels like to live on those vibrations, to live at that frequency. And it's usually the best way I can describe it is blissful. So I connect with these beings, yes, either for giving messages or for healing. And yeah, it's been really amazing, and the answers that come through have been really amazing. I do channel very consciously, so which means that I'm still aware of what's being said. I'm kind of in the background, but when people come through and ask questions, or whether it's questions we prepared beforehand, I'm aware, but I'm not actively participating, if that makes sense. I'm participating more in the background. I usually get more information. And Sometimes there's also an element of interpretation where I step forward a little bit. That usually happens when I'm receiving a vision or some kind of visual cue. And then I interpret that. Lately, I've been allowing a bit of a mix of the two to happen. I'd like to stay true to the channeling and rather just come forward and interpret when I'm asked to interpret, when I'm given a vision. So I'll be doing that tonight again. And yes, in the past I've had a few themes, but that didn't really work out. I feel that people felt very limited by that. So I prefer to have an open forum and just allow people to ask the questions that they want answers to. I also only allow subscribers to ask questions. And this is for a few reasons, but the main reason is really that I don't want any trollers and spammers to come through and ask nonsense questions and ruin the experience for everybody. So if you are not really keen to subscribe, that is fine. You can subscribe for the session and unsubscribe when you're done. That's really okay. I'm really okay with that. Doing this is not only about subscribers for me. Doing this is really about helping to raise the vibrations of the human consciousness, really helping people, including myself, to transcend, to move forward, to learn more about how we can live in this three-dimensional reality while being connected to other dimensions, especially as we are advancing from the third to the fifth. For those that aren't sure or don't know much about this, we're in this three-dimensional reality. We incarnated here in our current reality, so the current lifetime that you're living in. And this three-dimensional reality here on Earth, we're bound by space and time. And basically what's happening as people are waking up, awakening, having spiritual awakenings, they are starting to move closer to the fifth dimension. And the fourth dimension acts as a bridge. So many people that are awoken are operating within the fourth dimension most of the time, which means they can jump into the fifth or the fourth as they need to. And even if we are living mostly in fourth or fifth dimension, we still have to interact and do things in the third dimension and, interact with others that are still in the third dimension. So it is an interesting time for the human consciousness. And as so many beings that I've channeled say, that so many in the cosmos are watching to see what will happen here on Earth and watching to see how we move forward. So the beings that I have channeled so far publicly are Morowell. I got confused about that name. The Morowell, one of those are a future perspective of me. However, not everybody on the collective is a future perspective. But yes, there's one being on that collective that is a future perspective of me, and that is an eighth dimensional perspective, an eighth dimensional collective, actually. So that perspective of me is eighth dimensional and the whole collective. And then the Melchizedek, the first few times when I channeled that collective, I couldn't get a read, if you like, on who it is or who it was. But they eventually revealed who they were. But it's an 11th dimensional collective from many different places in the galaxy, actually. That's how interconnected it is in that dimension. that where they are physically is actually completely irrelevant. So yeah, that's very interesting. The 8th dimensional collective, the Morawal, who I in the beginning thought was Moradel. Bad with names. Anyway, they are, I think I would have to probably channel them again and ask, but I think they also have many different species and races on there. But I speak under correction. I think it's Pleiadian, a Pleiadian consciousness. And then last week, for the first time, I channeled publicly a collective, a 7th dimensional. Was it 7th dimensional? I can't remember now. Collective, a reptilian hybrid. That was interesting. It was like channeling 12-year-old boys. They were curious and excited and excitable and full of life and curious and adventurous. And so that was a very playful energy. Yeah, I have no idea who will come through tonight. We're 11 minutes in already. It doesn't look like anyone's joining us tonight. There might be people that are watching but are not, just not joining the chat, and that's fine. So we've got some of our own questions. However, if those run out, we can't think of any more, we're going to say goodnight. So let's see what comes through and who comes through. Anthony, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's see who comes through tonight. Okay, I'm feeling a very strong, I'm struggling to allow the being to come through completely, but I'm feeling a strong Christ-like energy, even there's also a feminine energy, like I want to say Mother Mary, but I'm not sure. I'm not that familiar with her. I'm very familiar with Jesus' energy, actually. He's a master guide that I work with quite often. And I often work with the Buddha as well. But I feel like Jesus, Christ collective wants to come through. Just to make it clear, this is a very higher dimensional master, and we'll refer to him as he, but he's not one person or one entity. He's a collective, and yeah, they came down to teach. That's why they came. So I think there might be a bit from him, and we'll see if he'll stay all the while or if anybody else comes through as well. And yes, I still see, let's put it this way, I keep seeing, they often reveal themselves to me visually before they come through. I keep seeing Mother Mary or someone that looks like her. It's like one of those medieval and Renaissance paintings, but just a bit more 3D, a bit more realistic looking, a bit more light being like. It's the best way I can describe it. And yeah, and I definitely feel or sense some angelic beings, and it's not only the angelic beings that are holding space for me here every single time I'm channeling. There are others as well, very high dimensional. Who wants to come through and talk? Okay, so I'm not exactly sure who will talk through me, but they are all present right now. Let's put it that way. They are all present. Hello, my beautiful souls. I'm so happy to be here.
Hello, good to have you here.
Hi, thank you.
Can we know who we're speaking to, please?
Hi, this is a collective of Christ consciousness. As Michelle has said, it is not only the Christ consciousness, but also some other consciousnesses that are joining. There are various light beings joining me here. And other ascended masters.
Okay.
But I will be speaking for this collective.
Okay. Can you tell us which dimension you're operating from?
I operate from the 12th dimension, mainly. However, I'm able to connect with any dimension that I wish to. When I say I don't mean as one entity.
Okay. And in the 12th dimension, I'm guessing that you don't really have physical bodies anymore?
No, we do not need physical bodies. This is not necessary for our existence.
So is it just light bodies?
Yes, mainly light bodies. We can take form if we wish to, especially when we are visiting lower dimensions. So even though we are light beings, it is not impossible for us to take physical form. However, we have to lower our frequencies quite a bit while still staying connected to our true beings, to be able to connect, especially when we want to connect with the human consciousness.
Okay. And with you being such high dimensional beings, is it quite difficult for you to lower your vibrations enough to, say, contact us in the 3rd dimension?
Difficult. This word does not really describe the experience. It's maybe a little bit of a challenge, but it's not impossible. And we are not really worried about difficult or challenge because we understand what it means. And challenges are not really important to us. It's just something to do.
Okay.
So it does not, even though some work, as you might think of it, is involved in doing it, it is not impossible. And whatever sacrifice we have to make, it is worthwhile, and we understand that. And of course, it is easy for us to go back to that dimension. It is easy for us to just bounce back.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
It is hard, however, to maintain the connection for any length of time. So the more of us come together as a collective and join together, join our energies together, the longer we can stay and communicate in this way. However, for just one of us, the connection time is much shorter. It can be much shorter.
Okay, thank you. See, we have a question from someone out there, from Mello. It says, how can we connect with the energy of the new earth?
This is a good question. The new earth, by this we understand that you mean as the human consciousness moves into the fifth dimension. So therein lies the answer. In transcending, growing, moving forward, not resisting your growth, but moving with your growth. And the more you spend time in higher dimensional realities, especially the fifth dimension, the more you will start experiencing the new earth. So even now, as you are residing in the third dimension, and many of you are in the fourth dimension, you're already experiencing some of what new earth will be. Those moments when you are connecting to the higher dimensions, when you are operating in the higher dimension of the fifth dimension, those times when time is not an issue and feels like it's standing still, you're already experiencing it. It is important to really start living more and more in the current moment. And when we say the current moment, that is more a reference that the human consciousness uses. It is truly where you break free from time and break free from space. It is for you currently in the time that you get still and meditate and do all of these sorts of practices, that you can connect with the higher dimensions and that you can break free from time. And the more you do this and the more you live purely, as I have said when I was here on earth, incarnated on earth, try to live with a pure heart, try to live with a pure soul, no judgment. When you get more and more and more into that space and closer to that, and when you start witnessing more and more miracles as you see them, that is the new earth. That is what the Bible referred to as heaven, in a matter of speaking.
Okay, thank you very much. So just to follow up on that from myself, so as I mean, the whole human consciousness will eventually move over to fifth dimension, I'm guessing. But in the meantime,
that is correct.
In the meantime, there's, say, how I put it, drips and drabs that are going to the fifth dimension, and others that are staying on the third. So at that point, will the human consciousness be basically living on two different earths at the same time?
You could look at it this way, but you are limiting your views with that of space. So it is important to understand that, yes, it is simultaneous. It is simultaneous. However, it is still occupying the same physical space, if you want to look at it that way, but just on a higher frequency.
Okay. Understand. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, then I think this is quite an important one. Is there anything in particular that we as the human collective need to be aware of or pay attention to in the next week?
Yes, there is a lot of people are experiencing ascension symptoms. So as people raise their vibrations and start living more and more in the higher dimension that we have been speaking about, stepping more into the fourth, especially those that are residing in fourth most of the time. And as you move closer to the fifth, many experience physical symptoms in their bodies. These can feel like viruses or illnesses. You yourself, as well as Michelle, has experienced something like this in the last week. So be aware that some form of physical sickness may occur, and do not let fear overcome you. This is just a process that you're going through as your body adjusts to new frequencies, new vibrations. If you let fear come in the way of this, you pull yourself back into the third dimension again, because fear lowers your vibration. So it is important to understand that you are not above at this point going through ascension symptoms. Other symptoms, physical symptoms, besides a virus-like or some kind of sickness that you may feel is fatigue. This is something that is happening quite a lot with light workers and those that are more awoken spiritually. This is what the human consciousness refers to as those that are breaking free from third dimensional constructs. So that is also something. There are many different ways that seem to cause people suffering in some way or another. For some of you, it may even be a financial setback. However, do not be discouraged by this. This is merely, think about it as a satellite that is entering the Earth's atmosphere. It goes through a process where it has to go through the atmosphere and go through a high velocity, and this is a difficult time where anything can happen. So even though it may feel like something that is not good, please understand that these symptoms are temporary, minor setbacks. Do not be discouraged by them. They are temporary. And keep following your practices, keep being pure, keep being pure of heart, and honor your temples. Your bodies are temples. And honor your energy bodies, honor your emotions, honor all parts of you, and do not quit your practices because of whatever physical symptoms you may experience in the three-dimensional reality. Just accept and allow, and keep focusing, keep manifesting intentionally. There is a reason why we want Michelle to focus on manifestation practices during this month. And that is because many of you do not realize that you are manifesting all of the time and you have this ability. So therefore keep being intentional with what you want to manifest in your life. And the more you focus on this and the more you focus on being pure, the quicker you will be able to move through these symptoms.
Okay, great. Thank you. I have another question from Milo. Says, I find a different unconscious part of me walking in memories of places I've been. What does this mean?
This means you are becoming more aware of other perspectives that you've lived, even if it is what you feel is now. So some of those are earth walks that you've had, perhaps in other lifetimes. However, I think in your case, it feels more like you might be jumping dimensions a little bit. This is okay. This is okay. Just become aware, be the observer, and watch. Watch and learn. It is important for you to be the observer. It is important for you to notice what this counterpart does and doesn't do. And you will also be able to distinguish when it is counter perspectives, when it is jumping dimensions, and also when it is possibilities that you are witnessing. Sometimes you are able to witness other realities you can move into if you wish. And this is very much the same thing as jumping dimensions. We want you to understand that you can create the reality you wish. This is the truth. And that's why so many who are not intentionally manifesting are sometimes experiencing hardships and suffering, because that is what they're creating. And that is what their souls want to experience at that time. So be aware, become the observer, watch carefully what these counterparts do. Does this answer your question, Melo? Please let me know if you need more information.
Okay, thank you. I will come back when you answers later. I have more questions from you. You would also like to know, how can we spiritually align our businesses?
This is a good question. A business is a good example of something that can be connected, because it is an energy, just like everything else. It is an energy. And this is something that can be bridged from third to fifth. And we understand that this is why you're asking the question. The important thing about aligning your business spirit with your spiritual self is exactly that. And that is to connect with your higher self. And as you connect with your higher self and you're aware of your purpose, make sure that what you practice in your business aligns with that purpose. So become aware of what it is you want to feel, what reality you want to manifest, and what your purpose is here. That which makes you feel happy and that which you are attracted to doing, that is in line with your purpose. This is not the same as lower base urges and addiction and those types of lower vibrational things. Here we are talking of true joy, pure happiness, and it also gives you a feeling of inspiration. You feel motivated to move forward. You feel motivated to create. And it's usually around this creation, and that is where a spiritual business will thrive, is when it is focused around creating experiences, creating tools to help the human consciousness and even others in the galaxy. So let's look at those few pointers. First of all, align with your higher self. Second of all, become aware of your higher purpose. Third of all, do not limit yourself. Fourth, make sure that it motivates you. And even when you have challenges facing you, problems to solve, you are still excited to do it. You are still excited to go through it. Does this make sense?
I think it does, yes, thank you. And then just on that note, Michelle has a question here. Is there an effective tool for aligning with one's higher purpose?
Yes, there are many effective tools actually. However, there is a simple technique. When you breathe in, and you breathe into your heart and solar plexus. Very important to breathe into both spaces, your heart and your solar plexus. And then just be, just you, just that sense of being and feeling your higher self. And as you connect with this greater part of you, your expansive consciousness that is connected to the rest of creation, and as you get to know the flavor or the energy of your higher self and connect to it more and more, your purpose will become clear. Your purpose will become very clear. So some of the information, this is the most important step, is that the most important information you receive about your purpose, you will receive in this space of being, of connecting with your higher self, self-reflection, looking inward, really studying you, the inner you. Become the observer of you. Get to know you. And we're not talking of the ego self. We're talking of the soul self. The ego self is very different. However, the ego does serve a purpose. And the other part is when you are with your conscious mind, connecting to your higher self, but then again, when you are more aware and going about your daily life, you can still feel and be connected to your higher self in your daily activities as you go about your day. And part of that connection is tuning into your intuition. And when you are living intuitively from moment to moment, you will always be following your purpose, even if you are not 100% sure what it is, even if it's not fully defined for you. As you live in each moment and you're using your intuition in everything that you do, you will be aligned with your purpose, with your higher purpose.
Great, thank you. How can we communicate with people without giving them too much to handle?
I assume here you're talking about people who you would like to help ascend, but perhaps are stuck in their programming.
Yes, I would assume that too.
So this is, if you think about the great masters that have incarnated here on earth, like myself, like the Buddha, like so many more, okay, Mother Mary, there are many, you know who they are. Whichever one you want to think about, that is fine. But if you think about these beings that have been here on earth, think about how they approached people who were stuck. And that is with love. Being straightforward, being firm, speaking your truth, but always from love. Always from love. The other very important thing is to develop your sense of discernment. You have to live in your intuition. And when you develop the sense of discernment and your intuition, you need to listen. You need to pay attention. Sometimes what is right for one person to hear will not be right for another, because the filters that they are living through or seeing through or experiencing their lives through are tainted perhaps by different things. And depending on their human experiences, they may react or perceive, let's rather say perceive, that which you are trying to tell them in a very different way than what you're actually meaning or intending. Therefore, listen to your intuition and allow your intuition to guide you. Your intuition says, rather don't say anything more. Listen to that. When you feel prompted to say something, say it, but be very mindful of how you express that. Follow your guidance. Follow your guidance. So your intuition and your guidance. There are many of us that are always happy to connect with you. You just have to call on us and we will be there. And we can also help you in what to say and when to say what, as we have a better understanding and are able to observe better what these different souls are going through and experiencing. We can perceive their thoughts much clearer than many of you can. However, we're not saying that you cannot. Many of you do have the gift of telepathy, but perhaps ours is just a little bit more practiced. We have had a bit more experience, and that is okay. So really, really use your sense of discernment and intuition in communicating with these people, and always speak through your heart. When you get emotional, when you get reactive, this is not the right space to be in. You have to come from a place of love and calm.
Great, thank you. Mela would like to know what your purpose is. So you in the 12th dimension, right now, what is your purpose?
My purpose is to expand. That is my purpose. We are always expanding. The universe, the greater consciousness, is always expanding. And we have the privilege, as those who have been some of the first perspectives of the greatest consciousness, to have experienced different things, to be able to see more, to have more of an observer perspective. And we have also practiced many different expressions, and we have come to the realization that love is truly the most powerful expression. So our purpose is to love, our purpose is to expand, and our purpose is to help the rest of the greater consciousness to expand.
Great, thank you. Okay, so there's some question from my side. Earlier you mentioned that we create our own reality, and we either do it consciously or subconsciously. That's why we sometimes have bad lives, if you like. But my question is, I've been told that we can switch timelines. Is this true? And if we can switch timelines, will we know that we switch timelines?
You will know, yes, first of all, yes, you can switch timelines. That is what Melo is currently experiencing. Switching timelines, jumping dimensions, shifting realities. There are many different phrases you can assign to this. Yes, you can experience this. And you can jump from one to the other as you wish, as you become more practiced at doing this. It is important to just losing the connection a bit here, sorry. I think it's because I'm very thirsty. Sorry about that. I will get back. This energy is causing me to heat up. I'm feeling very hot and thirsty. Okay. I'm sorry, Anthony. I'm going to connect again. Then you might have to ask the question again. I'm sorry for interrupting the connection.
No problem.
Okay. Jumping timelines. That's what it was. Okay. You will still need to ask your question again once I've connected. Okay. Christ consciousness, higher dimensional beings, if you're there, I'd like to reconnect again, please. Yes, we are here.
Hi. I was asking about switching timelines, and if we had to switch timelines, would we know that we switched timelines?
You would know whether you're switching timelines if that is what you wish to know. Mm-hmm. So it all depends on how consciously you are creating and how aware you are of what you are creating. This again comes back to what we have said about please allow yourselves to become more aware and more intentional with your creations. Because this will allow you to have more control. And we say control in a very loose manner, not that of power, but that of having the decision, being able to make the decisions of what you want to experience.
Okay.
I'm just going to see what Kira wants.
Sorry about this.
No problem. Oh, shame. She's experiencing sinus issues. She's also experiencing my daughter. This is Michelle. My daughter is experiencing some Ascension symptoms herself. However, it's not as severe as what we've been experiencing, and for that I'm thankful. Okay. I'm just going to allow this consciousness to speak to you directly about anything. Okay, Christ consciousness and everyone with you. Is there anything specific you want to tell us that we need to know about, well, about anything? Is there anything specific we need to know right now? As we have said, it is important to become conscious and aware of what you manifest and what you create. But first, it is important for you to become aware of the fact that you are a creator and that we are all creators. We all co-create together all the time. And therefore, you are part of the God consciousness, if you want to think of it that way. This is not to say that you align with any specific religion or philosophy, but rather that you connect with yourself as a divine spiritual being that you are. So become aware of everything. Connect with your higher selves and just watch. Be the observer as much as you can be. That is not to say never experience life. Of course, you will experience emotions. You will experience all these things because you chose to experience them. You want to know what it feels like to have all the range of emotions that you have. This is part of what the human consciousness, what many people on this plane wanted to experience as they reincarnated. So go ahead and experience those at your leisure. Experience what you choose to experience. That is the part that we are speaking about, is your choice. Becoming more conscious of what you want to experience.
I'm back.
Fantastic.
Then I just still on the creating our realities part. So as far as I understand, there is only the now. There is no past. There is no future. We are in the third dimension. We obviously have linear time, but in true essence, there is no time. So in saying that, that means we can change our past as well as our future.
Absolutely, 100% you can.
Okay, can you give us a practical way on how to change our past?
Yes, by doing, I think there are many different methods you could use to change it. The simplest answer would be through an intentional meditative experience where you choose to change your past by using your particular gifts. So for example, if you are a clairvoyant and you are able to use your imagination, and most of you have this ability, some of you have just limited yourself in thinking that you do not have an imagination. You are a creator, so of course you have an imagination. So use the tool of imagination to create that past the way it was supposed to be, or the way you would have liked it to be, or to create that future, as some of you have experienced in manifesting what you want to experience. But perhaps it is also important to note that becoming aware of the experience, first of all, if you want to change it, is key. So regression experiences, whether it's current lifetime regression or past life regression, as you call it, can be very useful tools in changing those memories or clearing the data, because that is truly what you are doing, is you are clearing irrelevant data and making yourself more and more whole, pulling together the fragments of your soul, so that you are operating more in unity with yourself. So becoming aware and knowing what the problem is will help you to change it to what it needs to be. And it is also very important that you are very careful about how you change it, because you always have to make sure that the intention of this is to grow as a soul and that it is for your highest good. If you just change it just because you want to, that is absolutely doable and it is your choice. However, if you want to experience less suffering and hardships, we would encourage you to make sure it is in line with your highest purpose and for your highest good and for the highest good of all. In that way, you can help heal yourself of old karmic imbalances and how some past lives, as you call them, manifest in your current reality and cause suffering and illness and all those kind of things. So this is a way for you to rectify it. And for those of you that are aware of the compassion key, this is a very useful tool to use as well. You can either find a practitioner who can help you with this, if you're still very new to your awakening, or you can learn to do it yourself.
Great, thank you. I've got another question for Mela. Do we reincarnate of our own free will or from the suppression of the controlling beings / matrix installation?
Most of you, all of you, choose to enter into this matrix. And yes, some may be more under control than others, if we can put it that way. So depending on for want of a better word, whatever incarnational expression you experienced before and what you would like to experience, for example, now in your current reality, a lot of the karmic imbalances can have an influence, and a lot of those were inflicted and caused by other beings. So be aware, we are co-creators, we affect each other, and this is the same for positive and negative energies. And for most of you, you perhaps do not want to experience it's not about wanting to be suppressed, but it's about being able to break free from the suppression. It is about that victory. So some do choose the expression because of misconceptions that they have about their souls and about themselves, because of past experiences that they've had, and now they feel compelled to experience an expression in this lifetime that follows that line of belief, that follows that karmic imbalance. But doesn't matter which lifetime or how, you can always break free from that, and therein lies the victory. And then there are those that are perhaps not under suppression, but choose specific experiences because they want to grow as a soul, because they want to learn to deal with these difficult things, or even pleasurable, enjoyable things, whatever it may be. But it is always to learn. The learning is about experiencing all facets for the greater consciousness. The greater consciousness wants to experience everything there is to experience, and you are part of that greater consciousness. So you choose that expression. As I've said, sometimes it's tainted. It's like there's a filter or a lens that is dirty and not clear, and perhaps it's harder. And that's also those people on earth that are struggling to escape the matrix. Those are the ones whose filters are so dirty that they cannot connect with their higher selves, with their souls properly. So the more you can clear that lens and clean that lens, the more you can see your true soul and your true light properly. Growth and breaking free from the system. It is quite a complicated concept, I think, for many humans. Please let us know if you need more information on this.
Great, thank you very much. I see it's now 9 o'clock. Perhaps we can just do one more short question. One from one of Michelle's questions. I think we're all interested. Is what is the best way to activate abundance?
The best way to activate abundance is to trust. That is the pure, simple truth. Trust. Trust and you shall receive. Trust and you will be given that which you desire. The clearer your lens is that we have spoken about, the clearer your filters are, the less filters you have, and the more connected you are with your soul, the easier it is to trust, the easier it is to know that you can truly have anything you desire, anything. The only limit there is what you place upon yourself. The only limit, the biggest limit that you have is that your lack of trust. So trust that the universe wants to give you what you want. The universe being all of us, the whole of the greater consciousness. We want you to experience joy and happiness. And it's whether you believe you deserve that joy or happiness, whether you can manifest that abundance or not. So clearing those filters, removing the filters, removing the resistances, removing the walls. Yes, it allows for a certain amount of vulnerability, but it is in that vulnerability and openness that you can see clearer and see more and know more. This is enlightenment. So trust and you shall receive.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you for answering our questions this evening. It was great chatting to you and getting the answers that we needed.
Yes, and I would love to speak to your mother when she comes and visits.
We can arrange that, yes. That'll be awesome.
Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
It's been a great honor, and we loved being here. And we want you to know and understand that you are all worthy of love, great love, and you do not have to suffer to have a good life. You do not have to suffer to experience joy. Lots of love from us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, everybody. I feel really good now and also ready for bed. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate those of you that showed up. I know it's a very, very small group here today. Hi, Claudette. Thank you for coming by. But I'm hoping more will be able to watch this video because I think it was a good one. There were lots of very important questions that were answered tonight, and I will definitely review this video and see what nuggets I can pull out of there to share again in other ways, perhaps in social media or whatever. So yeah, thank you very much for everybody that joined, and thank you for all of those that will watch in the future. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.